Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, today we will discuss basic of response spectrum analysis. We will try to cover in this tutorial following topics. What is structural response? What is response spectrum analysis? Why do we do this? Time periods, velocity, acceleration, peak ground acceleration, PGA, pseudo acceleration, PSA, modal superposition, how to idealize response spectral curve, modal combination method and directional combination type. So let's start. What is response? In simple sentence, structure or building response is the behavior of the structure due to lateral loading. Here in the figure we can see the force F and the displacement delta. When any effective lateral load F acts on a structure, then structure gets deflected. In another photo we can see the multiple displacement for seismic force. For seismic force SF, structure gets different deflections delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 etc. at different time periods. These deflections are structural response or behavior due to lateral or seismic force. This response depends on the magnitude and time period of the force, stiffness of the structure and mass of the structure. What is response spectrum analysis? Response spectrum analysis RSA is a linear dynamic statistical analysis method which measures the structural response to seismic events. RSA calculates and combines maximum modal responses from spectral curves using modal superposition. Response spectrum curve found by plotting time periods on horizontal axis and response quantities on vertical axis. Response quantities can be maximum displacement, maximum velocity or maximum acceleration. Why do we do this? It is done to find out the maximum deflection or displacement of the structure involving response spectral curve generated for possible seismic events by incorporating previous seismic records. Our target is to keep the maximum displacement within the allowable limit. So by the response spectrum analysis, we can design a sustainable structure during the possible seismic events. With RSA, we can review the response of the structure, how it may behave during earthquake before constructing it. Time periods, velocity and acceleration. When structure deflection or displacement delta in a time period of t, then we get structural velocity as v delta by t and structural acceleration sa equal to change of velocity divided by change of time duration. When seismic force in ground travels d distance in a time period of t, then we get the ground velocity gv equal to d by t. Due to the changes of velocity for different distance and time periods, we get ground acceleration g equal to change of velocity divided by change of time periods. For our information, we may notice that structures of shorter period experience greater acceleration, whereas those of longer periods experience greater displacement, as time period t is dividing factor. Now peak ground acceleration PGA. Peak ground acceleration PGA is equal to the maximum ground acceleration that occurs during earthquake shaking at a location. PGA is equal to the amplitude of the largest absolute acceleration recorded on an accelerogram at a site from different time periods. PGA is most typically expressed as a fraction of gravitational acceleration, g equal to 32.2 feet per second square or 9.81 meter per second square. Here in the figure we can see, if we plot ground acceleration along the arrow for time period t naught, another one for time period t1 and another one for time period t2. Try to find out the maximum value of acceleration to plot those acceleration along this vertical y-axis and time periods along x-axis. Then first maximum value for t0 we will get here, for time period t1 we will get here, and for time period t2 we will get here. So these points of maximum acceleration value we will connect those to get peak ground acceleration PGA. Now go to the term pseudo and relation with response spectrum analysis. In earthquake engineering, the prefix pseudo usually refers to the equivalent single degree of freedom SDOF characteristics. All typical buildings have multiple degrees of freedom, but taking advantage of modal orthogonality, each mode is orthogonal, that means statistically dependent to other modes, we can convert the behavior of the multiple degree of freedom building in each mode to an equivalent SDOF system. The response of the equivalent SDOF system depends on two things: natural frequency f equal to 1 by t or time period and damping. Let's assume 5% damping. Although we are assuming a constant 5% damping, the response of the equivalent SDOF structure will vary with time periods and frequency. But for the design earthquake, depending on the natural frequency, there is only one value of maximum response we will get, and that is our concern. This term is denoted with the prefix spectral. So we can see spectral displacement equal to SD equal to maximum displacement response of equivalent single degree of freedom system. Spectral velocity SV maximum velocity response of equivalent SDOF system. Spectral acceleration SA maximum acceleration response of equivalent SDOF system. Now the primary purpose of this conversion from MDOF to SDOF is to find the peak displacement response of equivalent SDOF structure, which can be converted back to displacement in MDOF structure, that means multiple degree of freedom structure. We need the whole displacement response UT along the peak displacement SD so that we can take derivative with respect to time and find velocity, and taking second derivative to find the acceleration of the structure. From these derivations we get velocity and acceleration response are related as SA equal to W into SV equal to W into W into SD. W is natural frequency of SDOF system. Note that purpose of this was to calculate the spectral displacement SD, and the relation result fulfilled our target because response of a structure is not a single sine or cosine curve, especially with damping. If the purpose was to calculate spectral displacement, then why do we need spectral velocity and acceleration also? Is spectral displacement not enough? The answer is it is easier to apply forces using accelerations F equal to ma rather than displacement F equal to kx on the structure to calculate internal forces. As we know, stiffness matrix is often complex, whereas mass matrix is usually easy and diagonal. Any and all structures can be converted to equivalent SDOF systems. All these systems relates to the properties of pseudo spectral responses as pseudo displacement, pseudo velocity and pseudo acceleration. Once we convert back from equivalent SDOF system to the original MDOF building through modal transformation or superposition, for this modal transformation we define modal cases in analysis program. We cannot use prefix pseudo anymore. The final responses are just peak values of structural responses. Displacement, velocity or acceleration belongs to particularly to that structure. Advantage of pseudo acceleration spectrum. As pseudo acceleration PSA is rewritten approximate acceleration proportionate to relative displacement, pseudo acceleration spectrum can be calculated directly from displacement spectrum without resorting to the solution of the differential equations. RSA input in programs like ETABS. Input spectrum can be pseudo spectrum PSA as per reference code that describes a range of earthquake. You can see in the figure like this pseudo spectrum curve we can use as input in programs like ETABS, or the input spectrum can be a spectra for specific earthquake. This may have multiple curve of different level of damping. We can see in the figure. This one figure acceleration response spectra of El Centro 1940 earthquake ground motion. This was recorded in 1940. How to idealize response spectrum curve. This is figure of HDOF oscillators, single degree of freedom oscillators. A whole series of single degree of freedom HDOF oscillators at a given damping level are subjected to the analysis. The peak relative displacement Ymax value from each oscillators are determined and then converted into pseudo spectrum acceleration SA by multiplying natural frequency omega equal to 1 by t squared. That means SA equal to omega square into Ymax. Now this is the figure of pseudo spectral acceleration response. Here these values of pseudo acceleration will be plotted against the period of the oscillator. Here in the figure we can see period or time along x-axis, and against this axis along y-axis the pseudo spectral response values t1, t2, t3, t4, t5 and t6 time periods, and related to that time period the acceleration SA1, SA2, SA3, SA4, SA5, SA6. Now connecting this intersecting points we can get response spectrum curve for considered damping. Different curve can be generated for different level of damping. Modal superposition in response spectrum analysis. RSA is based on modal superposition. At first, modes of the structure are calculated like this figure: mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. Then corresponding pseudo acceleration for each mode is determined from the response spectrum curve that matches the damping of the mode. Here in the figure, pseudo acceleration for mode 1, mode 2 and mode 3 are determined. Then the pseudo acceleration can be converted into displacement using mode shapes and mass participation factors. Also, force and stress can be determined for each mode. The process is known as modal superposition. Now come to modal combination and directional combination. Peak responses of each mode are combined to give total building response. So, the responses from different mode must be combined. We have two combination section in RSA. One is in modal combination, another one is in directional combination. Here combination OS for modal combination method. One is absolute sum of all the peak responses together. This is not very realistic as it assumes all peak responses occur at same time. Let's say we just have two modes to combine in a response spectrum analysis. From equations we end up with an equation like the following: R square equal to R1 square plus 2 into epsilon into R1 into R2 plus R2 square. Now one extreme condition is where epsilon equal to 1. This is basically just summing up the modal response like following. If epsilon equal to 1, then we can get this simplified equation R1 square plus 2 R1 R2 plus R2 square. That means R1 plus R2 whole square. By rooting the equation, we can get R equal to R1 plus R2. That means R equal to positive R1 plus positive R2 in practice, which is very conservative. Now come to second way, square root sum of the squares, SRSS. This can be used, however, when the terms are squared, all values are positive and there is no correspondence between response results like that would be in time history analysis. Let's say we just have two modes to combine in a response spectrum analysis. Now consider epsilon equal to 0. Then we have the following equation: r square equal to r1 square plus r2 square. R equal to square root sum of square r1 square plus r2 square. This is the SRSS method. Basically, another way to think of it is that we don't account for modal interaction of modes 1 and 2, since we neglect the r1 into r2 term and just take the square root sum of the squares. For structures with well separated frequencies, SRSS provides a good estimate of total peak response. Now come to number 3, complete quadratic combination, CQC. This is commonly used. The CQC uses value of epsilon in between 0 to 1. Epsilon means damping coefficients to calculate the total response. So we get value somewhere in between 0 to 1. In other words, CQC account for some interaction of modes when the modes are closely spaced. CQC is used for structures having closely spaced frequencies, that means time periods. This is default and preferred modal combination. Now come to general modal combination technique. GMC is used to combine the modal results. This is the same as the complete modal combination procedure described by the equation 3.31 in Gupta 1990. The GMC method takes into account the statistical coupling between closely spaced modes similarly to the CQC method, but also includes the correlation between modes with rigid response content. Now come to directional combination. For each displacement, force or stress quantity in the structure, modal combination produces a single positive result for each direction of acceleration. These directional values for a given response quantity are combined to produce a single positive result. That's why we need to apply the directional combination type to specify directional scale factor DIRF to be used. Here combination types for directional combination. One is select directional combination type as absolute to combine the directional results by taking the sum of their absolute values. This method is usually over conservative. Select directional combination type as SRSS to combine the directional results by taking the square root of the sum of their squares. This method is invariant with respect to coordinate system. That means the results do not depend upon your choice of coordinate system when the given response spectrum curves are the same. This is the recommended and default method for directional combination. Dr. Wilson explains that combined directional effects may be accounted for more effectively by using an alternative method in which the SRSS combination of 200% spectra analysis is applied in any direction or along either orthogonal axis. This method is valid because design forces and results are independent of the reference system used. Further, this method also accounts for independent and simultaneous ground motions which occur normal to those along the principal direction. The complete quadratic combination in 3 direction, that means CQC3 method, is the full expansion of SRSS method. Its generic expression accounts for the model correlation coefficient among vibration modes and the critical angle theta between the seismic excitation and the structural axis. It offers the most critical orientation of the ground motion components. So these are the 3 types for directional combination. Conclusion: from the discussion on modal combination method, directional combination type, we can understand that CQC is default and preferable for modal combination and SRSS is default and preferable for directional combination in usual practice. In the next tutorial, we will demonstrate response spectrum analysis in ETABS version 18 as per IS code. Although it is based on IS code, but the procedure will helpful to all, and we can see how these basic terms are related to the RSA. Sequentially, I will try to prepare tutorials on RSA based on latest ASCE guideline that matches with PNBC code. So all of you keep eyes on Decode BD. Subscribe the channel, like and share the tutorials, and to support the channel, join as donor member to get resources like Excel CAD used in recent tutorials. Join as Loving Fan Sub member. Top fan members will get my WhatsApp number for immediate communication. Communication for topics related to tutorials and will be replied free time out of my office hours. So get ready to support the channel and get more important tutorials. So Allah Hafiz for now. See you soon inshallah.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.